Eminence. Go throw them knees up in the air.
9, 8, 7. We have a go for main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
Pick up the phone, baby. I know you're home, baby. It's lit. I'm in the zone, baby. Straight up. I just put up a phone, baby. Yeah. Never would I cheat on you. Never would I commit treason. Blowing a bag on you. You all of that for no reason. I'ma pull up in my toe. Hit in the block and I'm bleeding. Throwing that rolling on you. I like the way it be freezing. Pick up the phone, baby. I know you're home, baby. It's lit. I'm in the zone, baby. Straight up. I just put up a phone, baby. Yeah. Before that, let it be. Lean like my vanity. Super Bowl ring with big body bins. I stacked it up, now I'm just better living. Got screws in my mouth, I'm just prepping it. I'm f***ing this cash, I'm not celibate. I'm packing it out like a reverend. I need all this cash, I got hella king. I'ma play dumb and get left in the middle. Back the f*** up, you too little. Hit him with 3 like a Miller. I don't talk to no man in the middle. I don't talk to no man, I'm just kidding. But I did pay my sister tuition. I felt lucky I should play the lottery. Walking out with it like Sunday listen. Mama told me I'm her brightest star. Mama told me don't hate on the law. Because everybody got a job. Because everybody wanna be a star. Please believe every mother Friday won't be a part.
What's up, SFL Nation? Welcome back to SFL Nights with AJ Striker. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight or whenever you decide to hit that play button or turn on that radio dial. Really appreciate it, y'all. And I have here with me some great friends that I just met in Vegas that work for Next Level Sports Entertainment. This is one of our partners that SFL works with. And I'm so happy to have Mr. Michael Chase. He is Next Level staff writer for the company. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Ashley. How are you doing today?
Hey, it's a beautiful day in Georgia, man. I'm enjoying it. You see, I'm outside, Otherwise, I'd be right in the house.
No, I feel it. It's a little hot for me right now, but I feel it. I feel it.
Yeah, I'm sure the heat's coming. When you out earlier in the day, the weather just seems so beautiful and just mild. But I see you in the kitchen cooking it up. What you got cooking for us today?
You put the pressure on me. I don't got anything cooking up just yet, but maybe something a little bit later because I think it might be my day to cook in the house. So gotta make sure I can keep my parents fed.
Hey, I get that, bro. I get that. All right, so let's get to know you, Michael. So, if you wouldn't mind, give us a little bit of info about yourself. So, your age, if you don't mind, or if you want to share that, that's fine. Your hometown, an interesting fact about yourself, and your favorite NFL team.
Okay, so I don't have any issue telling my age because I think every time I say it, I make sure to remind myself how old I actually am. I'm 26 years old, but don't quote me on that because sometimes I do be forgetting sometimes. So don't quote me on that. But as far as a hometown, I was born in DC, and then I have lived most of my life out in Maryland. I live currently in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, with both of my parents in Prince George's County. So nice little quaint, quiet place. Not too much happens around here that's out of the ordinary, for at least what I've seen. Let's see. I think an interesting fact about me is that originally my original dream wasn't necessarily in sports. I grew up as like a kid that was big on animals. So I kind of, I have all kind of figurines and things like that. I should have brought them to the interview so you can see how ridiculous I am when it comes to collecting animal figurines. But that was really one of my main passions. It still is, but kind of sports is the lane I've kind of transitioned into. But kind of it ties into the interesting factor that when I originally went to college, I went there as a biology major looking to get into the world of zoology. And then, how college does you. Sometimes it gives you the reality check real quick. I was like, all right, this may not be for me. Not that I can't do it, but I found a different calling, and I'm happy that I so far having about a lot more success than I actually thought I was going to have. So that's been good. And then favorite NFL team. God, I feel ashamed sometimes when I say this, but I'm a Washington Commanders fan, unfortunately. I mean, shout out to them. I love a lot of the players on the team and everything like that. So, we've been going through some rough patches, but, I still got to support my guys. So
Absolutely.
that's really all I got for you on that one.
Hey, I mean, as long as you just say Green Bay, we cool. We always gonna be cool as long as you don't say that. Yeah.
Oh, man. You're not an Aaron Rodgers guy? You're wrong?
Does his face look like? Look, I am a Bears fan. I am a Bears fan, and I am an Atlanta Falcons fan. So no, I don't fare well.
Okay, I understand you felt pain from both franchises at the end, so I get it. I get it. I get it. That face told me all I needed to know. I should have known.
I'm glad we have that connection. Oh man, so did you actually play sports?
Yes, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because I didn't even really get involved or like heavily develop an interest in sports until really about middle school. And kind of the funny story I always try to tell is that my dad, pretty much my grandfather, then my dad and his brother, they all played football. So I guess I've always thought of my dad saying, how I end up with two sons, I couldn't get either one of them involved in football. And then I come to find out my mom's like, always tell her, like, I don't want them in sports. They need to focus on their education and things of that nature. And my dad always like, my hands on you. I would have had you in football, running track, or doing something. But I did end up playing baseball for my final 3 years of high school, and then got to college and figured out that probably wasn't going to go anywhere like huge with it and things of that nature. So then I kind of, just transitioned, focus more on my studies. But now I'm getting back into sports, and it makes me, and now I kind of have, I think how everybody kind of has, you have that point where it's like, man, if I had just been committed a little bit earlier, maybe I could have been an athlete. But it gives me good perspective that I at least play the sport at some particular level. So then when I talk about it and when I have to be critical, I can be cognizant of that. I know how hard certain things are. That's why baseball is honestly my favorite sport, because now I feel like I have a lot more knowledge about it than, the average person who maybe hasn't watched it or played it.
Which is important, especially when you're an analyst. I think it's vitally important for you to at least have, if you don't play the sport, or you haven't played it, at least have some knowledge of it. Because if you get on and you try to be all analytical about something and about a team, and then you've never played, kind of, I don't know. It just kind of, it always kind of rubbed me the wrong way, especially when you come off knowing like, oh, this person needs to do this, that. Okay, well, did you do it? Because
it's actually interesting because that's kind of even a debate when I was first really getting into sports is always like kind of understanding that you want to be critical. And then one thing I've always said that I've really learned as my young career continues to progress is that I've kind of made this stance that I know when to separate myself as a fan and then myself is like when I'm actually doing my job as an analyst. Because when I get into fan mode is when I always say, if people can separate that out, that's when you can say all the crazy stuff. You can make the jokes about the player and everything, because it's like, it sounds, a lot of the stuff you may say either sounds ridiculous or just sounds like, all right, man, do you really know like this, that, the third about what you're talking about? But then when you put the analyst hat on, I mean, I can't wear a hat because of the way my hair is now, but you do. I mean, when you put the analyst hat on, it kind of goes into the whole perspective of now you got to be serious. You have to be respectful because these are still human beings at the end of the day. But also at the same time, kind of how I see it is that you can do that, but you can still provide commentary. And if you have to be critical of something, you have to understand to a certain point, utilize the knowledge that you have of either what you've experienced or seen, and then try not to push beyond that, because that's when I think sometimes you can put your own foot in your mouth.
Indeed. Great advice. So what was it like for you to get that call to let you know that you're hired at Next Level as their staff writer?
What I can say is it was quite the roller coaster experience, because Next Level, basically was kind of like, and it seems like it's been like this ever since I've gotten to the whole sporting world and being with a couple of different entities. That I see like I'm always the one that's joining on when things are like just getting going. So I'm kind of when the company's in this like baby or like infant stage and kind of growing, which I appreciate because it allows me to grow alongside the company and learn as they learn, which Next Level has provided me. But as far as like when I got the call, it was one of those days where it's like, I can tell you, I'm not a person that gets stressed out easily. Like kind of, I would say between my parents, I got a lot more of my personality traits from my mom. She's more the calm, easygoing. She's not going to have too many facial expressions, things of that nature. If she doesn't get overly excited or overly down on certain things. So when the day came and I knew I was going to get the call, it was like, okay, I know. And the lady who actually gave me the call, her name is Miss Roseland. Shout out to Miss Roseland Julio, who was at HR with Next Level, who gave me the great call. But it really ended up being a thing where when she called me, she really, this is what I knew, we had built a pretty good relationship through my recruiting process. She hit me with the line of, all right, Michael, I have good news and bad news. What do you want first? So in my mind, when you hear that, it's just like, oh, she's going to try to go the whole let me down easy route, but try to give me some encouraging words. So I was like, all right, just slap me with the bad news. And then, she said, well, I can only get you, unfortunately, when I vouch, I can only get you this much amount in terms of what you will get paid for the job. And I said, okay, well, what's the good news? And she just kind of paused for a second. I was like, wait, did I get the job? She's like, yes, Michael, you got the job. I was like, oh, that was the good news. I should have started with the good news first. So I'm sitting up there thinking, because like I'm not gonna gas myself up and say I'm like the smartest guy in the world. Like I know I'll have my slow moments, or as they call them, some people call them like my dumb blonde moments, where like you'll say something, it registers, but then it does it at the same time. I'm like, okay, but if you're about to tell me, because I'm sitting there thinking, if you're about to tell me I didn't get the job, what's the point of you telling me how much I'm not gonna get paid based on the number I gave you? And I was like, oh, so I got it. Okay, that's cool, great. And from there, I mean, the rest is history from there. But I mean, I don't know. It just seems like the stories I tell to this day, they all end up being funny, and I don't know how it keeps ending up like that. But man,
that was bad. Like she literally just told you that she was hired.
Yeah, maybe it was just one of those days where to speak myself in the first, it was like Michael needed to be told that day directly, we're hiring you, not the whole, well, we weren't able to get you the number you wanted, but you're still going to be able to get paid this. Because at that point, Michael's process is like, I'm not stressed, but it's like, all right, either I'm going to hear yes or no, and then we'll take the punches as they roll. Mm-hmm. So yeah, maybe that was just one of the few days you needed to be just blunt and directly like, look, you got the job, okay? Like, okay, good. Where do I start?
Everybody has those moments, So I'm sorry to laugh. That was just kind of funny how you put it.
I would hope anyone I tell that story laughs, because the more I think about that, that's perfect for like a comedy stand-up, right?
Yeah, it really is. So your time at Next Level, how long have you actually been with the company now?
I've been there since October. My first day, I don't know how of all the days I remember this by memory, but my first day was actually October 18th, 2000, and I want to say it's 2021. What am I talking about? Like I was blanking it after I just built it up like I had this in our memory, but. Yes, so we're working closer to being there for right now, working on being there for a full year. And as far as with Next Level, I'm kind of, because as we continue to change, we continue to grow, there's going to be turnover, changes in staff, things of that nature, but all in a positive way. So I'm definitely, what I can say is I'm one of the more longer tenured of the group of people that currently work with Next Level, at least in my class, I would presume right now. So I guess that's a nice mile to hit. That 1 year milestone with the company is going to be an interesting thing to get to. I wonder if they're going to throw me a party or something.
Hey, when they see this, they might. Next Level, come on, y'all. Just throw them a little party. Do it for me, please. That's a little something, a little cake, maybe a couple hot dogs and burgers. Something.
Look, if if this gets clipped and this goes up on social, I'll make sure to retweet it and at Next Level to make sure they know that look, I got Miss Ashley Jackson support, so y'all better get on, man.
Please. And heck, if I can get a plane ticket, I come out there and spend a date with you too. But it's amazing the opportunities that sometimes just happen to fall to you because you're in the right place in the right space at the right time. You know. So tell me, you know, you had a whole different pathway that you wanted to go, and you decided to go with Next Level. What have you learned from your year? I'll just go ahead and say a whole year being.
What I've learned is that kind of, you know, the old adage goes, I learned a lot more than I thought I was gonna have to learn. Because like when you think, honestly, I think with everybody, when you've been with I've been with 2 prior companies and I've gotten, you know, to see what it's like to go out in the field and shoot things on like, you know, professional cameras, things of that nature, what it goes into trying to keep up with social thing and all that. But now kind of with Next Level, I kind of learned that maybe in more of like especially that since it's a company that's really got started that really got its legs pre-COVID and has started to take off post-COVID, which is crazy to me that, I mean, at this point, I'm not that much younger in terms of how long I've been in the company itself, which is crazy. But I mean, looking at it like that, what I've definitely learned is that I got a lot more to learn about a lot of things. Like even like in college, once I switched my major from biology to going into communication, and I learned everything from, well, not everything like I'm an expert or something, but anything classified from graphic design, video production, things of that nature. I'm thinking, oh, you know, I mean, coming into this opportunity, I've got a lot of different things I can provide, maybe not at an expert level, but maybe as I learn and grow and get involved with a lot of things, I can learn a lot. Well, now I know it's like the learning curve is just as steep. It's like all that stuff I did in college, not to say it wasn't significant, but it's like, oh yeah, you're not special. You still got a long way to go, but I appreciate the challenge because I've gotten to see a lot of different things, experience a lot of different things. And I mean, I'm just really appreciative of this opportunity. I think it's helped me grow as a writer, as, you know, build my understanding of social media, which I've never been a social media whiz by any stretch of the imagination. So the fact that I was able to pull off what I did at SFL for you guys' Vegas Bowl was, I was really proud of myself. I was like, man, there was a point like, I can't stand social media. I don't know how to use it. Do I want to learn how to use it? But once you get in the sports world, it's part of the sports world now. You got to use it. So just, I'm taking everything day by day. And anytime I make a mistake, I take the constructive criticism in stride and just try to learn from it. And pretty much just continuing to grow, continue to learn more stories, gain more knowledge about sports that I had never really come into contact with, and just kind of go from there.
Phenomenal. Now, you've mentioned a few things that you've done since you've been in Next Level. Would you mind sharing this? What all do you do?
Do you mean like my particular job or like stuff that I've done as far as projects?
Your particular job, and you can actually go into projects as well.
Okay, good. As far as what I do, like the title staff writer, I always try to tell people like, yes, I'm a staff writer, but I kind of use that term loosely because I've kind of, like with everybody at the company, since we're continuing to grow, we're still kind of in the growing stage, but growing at a rapid pace. It's kind of like everybody's going to have a lot of different hats. So while I do a good bit of the writing for the site, I still do things like I contribute to the social media as far as posting different things and getting posts up, keeping track of things and trying to keep track of news. Help with production however I can with the knowledge that I do have. I've done some video editing for the company as well. Nothing on like a grand scale, but like some shorter clips. So kind of have my hand in a little bit of everything and just try to provide my services however I can. And even when I don't have any knowledge of how to do it, I'm always willing to like, hey, I can come along and help. And if you give me the outline of what you need me to do, I'm pretty confident in myself and pretty adaptable that I can figure out how to do things. So my job is like definitely it's writer first, and then don't make sure you don't stretch yourself in trying to do a whole lot of stuff, but understand that when you can, you know, slide in and try to help out in other areas, try to do that as well. And as far as what I've experienced at the company, as far as different projects I've done, I mean, at this rate, I've done a bunch of different stuff already, which is insane to me. I mean, I've interviewed college coaches for women's basketball teams. I've interviewed Cameron Irvine, the SFL commissioner, which was a crazy interview to do, especially with the energy he had for how excited he was. Obviously, going to cover you guys out at the SFL was a fantastic. That was, I think, the best experience I've had by far. We've also had our NCL lacrosse league that we did, trying to help basically get sixes style lacrosse into the Olympics down the road. So I mean, the projects I've done have been in the grand scheme of things of the sports world are more on the smaller scale, but to me, it's been like truly eye opening. Because I never would have thought I'd get to a point where I'm sitting up here just with my little Nikon camera shooting photos at like a legit simulation football league event. Like, won a league that I didn't really come to know until the last couple months. And then to be put into the fire and say, hey, go cover this, go talk to these people, get to know them, because these are people that are going to grow alongside us. I mean, just having that experience out of itself was like 3 put into 1. So it's been a lot. We got more coming down the pipe, obviously.
Absolutely. And that's a great way to start. You know, you've been there for a year. That's a fantastic portfolio. It was a pleasure working with you guys in Vegas. That was my first experience ever being out there, ever being involved in something like that. And then, you know, when you guys came and asked me, first off, when I was watching a interview being done with Harish and Shervin Fasad, and I walked into the room and I was with like 3 other people. But when all of you guys recognized me and you said, hi Ashley, oh, that kind of threw me, because I didn't know that you all knew of us like that, but let alone me, you know, and you all just made the experience so wonderful. And I remember Cameron always telling us that he wanted one of the reasons that he did the league, or that he came up with the league, was that he wanted us to be recognized out in the streets somewhere, you know, just get to that level to where people see you and like, hey, there's Ashley Jackson, or hey, there's whomever. And we've actually had those experiences. Even in Las Vegas, a few of my other community members said that people recognize the team and recognize us from watching Next Level, you know? So it was a fantastic experience all around. And like, I'm always going to be grateful for those moments and those connections that we made. It was more than what I expected. It was better than what I expected. And I can't wait to hopefully do something like that with you guys again. And it was great, you know, and I hope you guys had just as much fun as we did all around.
I mean, if I could speak on behalf of everybody that was there for the Next Level, we had a fantastic time. I mean, we basically spent the last nearly week and a half, 2 weeks now, still talking about the people we met, how basically we were told, well, a lot of these people, you know, at SFL, they might be shy, so we have to be mindful of that. We got in there. I don't think we found not a single person that wasn't ready to talk, give us a funny story. And speaking of the fact when you walked in, I mean, you having that type of reaction, having that type of appreciation, I mean, really is just the work that you've done. We really appreciate it too. I mean, we wouldn't be doing you guys a service, or I should say, we would be doing you guys a disservice if we didn't do our homework. So, I mean, we're sitting up here. We don't want to go out to the SFL and then you're one of the, you know, big personalities that you have the podcast and everything. You're really one of what we see as the faces of the SFL. And if you walk into a room, we need to know who you are right off the bat. At that point, you're nearly royalty, really, if we're going to be honest. So it would be crazy if we didn't know who you were, and that, you know, one of the best and one of the most recognizable faces of the entire league is basically in our presence. So we did our homework. We make sure that we greeted you properly and gave you guys the type of, you know, welcoming and then obviously send off that we could.
You did, man. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I think anybody that's looking for a partnership should definitely consider Next Level, because you guys are. So speaking of which, and we're actually got maybe a couple more questions for you, but what what is Next Level and what is the ultimate goal for Next Level from your perspective?
From my perspective, Next Level is basically a growing nationwide television network entity that I see continuing to expand. It's already got a broad array of what we cover, from Canadian basketball. We cover you guys, obviously. I mean, we have cover lacrosse, trying to get that going. I mean, we basically stretch out across all facets to all walks of life. And I mean, when we talk about, even if you go on our website, nlsc.com, and just look at the About Us page, I mean, it literally, every word in that section, from calling us international, how many homes we're in, things of that nature. I mean, that is truly factual, because we're trying to reach a broad, I mean, we're talking about one of the few, if not the only Black-owned sports network. So the fact that I didn't even realize that initially when I signed up, but once they told me that at even orientation, I was like, man, one, probably should have done a little more homework about the place I'm working for, obviously. But number two is, like, I'm getting to be a part really of something that's historic, because you just don't see this type of opportunity, you know, for minorities very often. Obviously, we're very visible throughout the sports industry now, but to have our own network that we're continuing to grow is just something that we can tell a lot of stories about people that, you know, whose stories basically haven't been told. That's really the true goal of what we try to do. Not only show and be as versatile as possible with the different programs we air, but when we get into some of our more serious topics, stories, interviews with different people and subjects, trying to tell the story of the people that maybe got overlooked or maybe are unheralded, things of that nature. So really it's just a continuing entity that's going to continue to grow. Again, like I said, along with you guys, along with everything else that we cover, and then just trying to really continue to make history, basically. That's the best way I can honestly put it.
Okay. All right. Now, I am actually on the website, and www.nsle.com. I'll make sure I put that in the description too. 20 million U.S. homes, 100 million global homes, 7 continents. That's awesome. And, you know, and when you say, you know, it's minority owned, Black owned, it's that means a lot, because unfortunately we don't have a lot, you know, of opportunities like that. And then when you're able to work with a company, you know, that looks out for everyone, that says something special too. Mm-hmm. And I want to know, what type of partnerships are you or is Next Level looking for? And what do you tend to go after?
For what I've seen in terms of just being from the outside, because I can't say I'm too like heavily involved in terms of like what we get, okay. But what I can tell you is that what I've seen is that it's basically, we're a partnership that wants to get stuff out there that, again, a lot of people maybe aren't seeing. So when you have Japanese baseball and you're trying to bring something like that to the US, I mean, one, baseball is already, I would say it is, again, this is me talking about my favorite sport. So, I mean, the fact that it's a sport that, you know, can kind of be 50-50 on how much engagement you're going to get about it. But then to bring something from a completely different country and bring the sport being played by, you know, people that maybe don't look like you back over and trying to get that and push that out. I think those are the challenges that I see the company really looking to take, and just continuing to really find ways to show sports and show maybe even the sports that we know and love in America so much, just from a different light. So see how many other countries are really getting involved and have players and athletes that love playing the sport that we value so much, that make our sports world, you know, as great as it is. And it's just a way to continue to, you know, create relationships, I think, just across the globe. So now maybe you have a very strong fan base out in Europe, because now, you know, we're dealing with European football. Or now in Canada, you know, people that we're the talk of the town in Canada. That's where we're trying to reach, just being global and taking the whole idea of having that international reach truly, I mean, not to be punny here or anything like that, but truly to the next level.
I like that, though. I like that. Even if you were trying to be funny, that was good. So, actually, Michael, I'm going to open the floor up to you right now because those are all the questions that I have for you for now. And I'll definitely invite you to come back on the show whenever you want to, if you got any major projects that you want to kind of announce, or if you just want to just come back and just visit. You're always welcome. But
trust me, I will.
Do you have any questions for me?
I actually have, I think, either 2 or 3. So the first one actually would have to be for you. And this kind of ties into the whole idea of, SFL, you obviously have a pretty well-known quarterback in that league. What so far has been your favorite moment for your player since you've, become a part of the SFL?
Being drafted. Becoming an owner too. But I would say the most special moment was being drafted because I was the very first female quarterback that the league ever had. And I was not originally supposed to be a quarterback. When I played the rookie showcase game, I actually played as a wide receiver. Got my first touchdown and was even player of the game. But when the Tulsa Desperados, when Dion approached me, he wanted me to be his quarterback. And I was like, that's not what I signed up to be a defensive end or like a wide receiver. He's like, yeah, I know, but I see how special you are and I'd like for you to be my quarterback. Okay. And so the surprise that everyone had on their face the night I got drafted, because everybody was expecting me to go either definitely wide receiver. And when they said that I was a quarterback, that everybody's faces changed, and it was just like, "Oh man, she's the first one! All right, And so it was a great experience. That's something that will always be memorable to me.
Oh, good. I mean, that's insane that you kind of had the reverse of what some actual athletes go through. It's like no, I came to play one, but they're like, no, we want you to play position that a lot of people want to play, but maybe they get asked to switch. So the fact that you got the reverse, that's insane.
Sure, I made a few people a little upset, but they asked me, so I did.
I mean, look, that's gonna be something you can flex about for the rest of your time in the SFL for sure.
Right.
Okay, so my next question for you then would have to be, as far as besides the SFL, do you have any other hobbies that we could know? I mean, hey, we might have to write a bio. I might have to write a bio about you down the line or interview you again. So knowing about any other hobby, that would be good information to know.
That's actually good. I like reading. I actually play the flute, and I'm learning to play the guitar. I played the flute since 4th grade all the way up till I graduated from high school, and was involved in various bands, symphonic band, concert band. My favorite was the marching band, and got to travel a little bit, hang out with college, like when they were their homecomings and things like that. Got a chance to march during that, so awesome. And learning to play the guitar, I actually have some videos on my YouTube channel that I'm literally learning. And for now, that's about it. I mean, as far as hobbies go, because I stay so busy, I really don't have too many. And then podcasting, but that's it.
I mean, look, you already got me one up to hobbies, because anytime someone tells me one of their favorite hobbies is to read, I mean, on top of that, I'm one of those people that's like, anytime, whether it's reading or like, especially if someone says, I know how to play or I'm learning how to play an instrument, I respect you guys to like a whole different level, because I mean, to take on something like that is that I don't even know if I would have the mental fortitude to do it. And I can be pretty determined on certain things, but I don't know, Miss Jackson. I'm not sure. So all credit to you on that.
I mean, you look like you could be a saxophone player right now, or like play the trumpet. You look like you can do a few things.
It's funny you say that, because my younger brother actually, he wound up playing the saxophone a little bit, playing some of the wind instruments when he was younger. So I guess he got those G's. So I kind of leave that to him. I just sing in the shower.
There you go. Best acoustics ever.
Yes, yes, ma'am. So I guess my last question then would have to be, as far as going forward and then with the SFL, what do you think is the next big thing the SFL, in your opinion, truly needs to, I guess, further expand and become even looked at even more so as like a league where I think even some, like, I know now we do a lot of things with esports that's becoming a huge thing. How do you guys kind of get into that realm even further, the same way esports is kind of being looked at more and more now as like legitimate sport?
Good question. I think maybe more exposure. I mean, we are definitely getting the exposure with Next Level and other partnerships that we are working with. But I think that we've grown so much since I arrived in season 12. And we've grown so much graphic-wise, league-wise, that I think the more exposure that we get, we will definitely get where we need to be. We've added automation as far as like how to input progressions and making things easier for the league staff members to kind of operate more efficiently. So now that we have those things in place, I think the next level is to get more eyes on the product and then eventually, hopefully, get our own video game. So we can have our players, our teams actually in, hey, SFL, let's go pick up the SFL 2023 copy. You know what I mean? Something like that. I think that's the ultimate goal for us. So when am I going to see Michael Chase come out as a defensive lineman for the SFL, or I don't know, wide receiver, or what you trying to do?
Well, now you to put me in the hot seat. Now I feel like as soon as we finish here, I gotta go immediately make my subscription and get on that. But it was definitely something that just the experience was truly eye-opening. The funny thing is, as soon as I got home from Vegas, I actually told my dad, I was like, Dad, you should probably get involved in this thing, because I know you never got the shot that you probably wanted to when you were in college trying to get into the pro. So why not get it virtually, man? You can make one of the best wide receivers out there. I don't know what to tell you. It ain't gonna cost you much. I know that. He kind of brushed it off. I'm definitely selling you guys to him, and so maybe down the line.
Dad, come on, watch a few games, watch the coverage. You'll be hooked too. Please, so make sure he sees this. Okay.
Well, I'll a screenshot it and I'll play it on loop as his alarm in the morning, so he just knows.
It's to all y'all joy. Michael, it has been a blast hanging out with you. Was that all the questions you had for me?
Yeah, look, that's all I got, Ashley. Because I don't want to get too long. I know you're a busy woman, so I got to work out today too. So if I use too much of my brain trying to really dig deep, I mean, I'm not gonna have anything left to want to go work out.
I mean, I was hoping you was gonna ask me that one question she was asking everybody. That chicken question.
If you want to answer it, I mean, by all means, because at this point, what I can tell you from all the questions from all the people I was able to ask the event, it looks like the drumsticks are in the lead. I can tell you that much, and by a significant margin.
And they gonna keep being in the lead, because that's what I love, the drumsticks. That's right. Most meat, a little crunchy bits on top, but then the flavors of lemon pepper gets stuck right in those little crunchy bits. Hands down. I did like Bo Martin Jr.'s answer. I thought that was the best. Besides Harish and Sharon.
I was so happy. Yeah, I was so happy, because what I can definitely say is that it's one of those things where I was working hard the last week just to I gotta get these clips up, because I don't want I got this footage. I don't want it to go to waste, and I know it may not get necessarily used on our broadcast. I was like, this has got to go up on our social media. So I'm sitting up here saying, all right, let me download the clips, cut them up, make sure it's not like people are going to watch a 4-minute. Let me put it into 2 parts so people can really get the perspective of the two different sides. You you got the Mike and Jeffrey Daggs and what they had to say, and then but hands down, like I said, the Prasad brothers and Bomar Jr. especially, because the fact that he said that when we also had two other ladies in the room, that was by far the best part. Because when it got to the end, I was like, now I'm gonna really take a chance because I don't know if this is gonna be for FCC Airways or things like that. So like, if I can sneak this on social, that would be phenomenal. And I also appreciate you and your community. Just anytime I put something up, or my guy, shout out to my guy Jordan Johnson, who really handles a lot of our social media. When we put stuff up about the SFL, I mean, you guys are like on it. Mm-hmm. It's like it'll even take but maybe 2 or 3 minutes, if that, before the first 4 to 7 people we see is like ping, 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 ping. They retweet. I'm like, oh, I didn't even get a chance to go back in and retweet first for my own Twitter. Y'all are beating me, but we're the ones posting the stuff.
Excited, man.
It's crazy.
We want to show y'all that we're partners. When you say we're partners, we're really gonna have your back as a community.
The partnership aspect, it is truly being felt. Believing, for what I can tell you, the partnership, it is truly being felt at next level, and I hope so vice versa.
Phenomenal, man. Well, Michael, can't wait to see you next time, but I cannot let you go without giving you the last word. So that can be a song, that can be a poem, or that can be just a simple shout out. But right now, Michael, the floor is yours.
Well, before I go, the one thing I want to make sure that the person I give a shout out to is my guy Matt Phillips, or Matty Bets as he's known on social. He handled all of our shows and things of that nature out at SFL, from the betting show to our preview show. I mean, he did everything. So I want to give him a big shout out. I know from what I heard from him actually yesterday that he's going to be on your show coming up as well. So I want to make sure I get this shout out. So I beat him to the punch just in case he might not even give me a shout out, but I just want to make sure I show that I'm being a good coworker and give him the heads up. And then I don't want to, sit up here and sing for people, but I don't know if I got a good song. My music taste kind of fluctuates, but what I can definitely say is that just appreciate you, Ashley, and everybody at SFL, and just I can't wait to be back on. This was fun.
Dope, and I can't wait to have you on. Whenever you had a time, brother, I'll make time. I'll see you soon.
I'll have a song lyric for you the next time I come on. I promise.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. Everybody that tell me that next time I see you, Adam Chance. He told me he was gonna come back and sing the show. He's been on the show about maybe 2 or 3 times and haven't sung the lick. So just saying. But listen, next time, I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you soon.
I will see you soon. Have a good day.
What is up, SFL Nation? And we are back with second part of my next level sports interviews with newfound friends. And I have here with me Mr. Matthew Phillips, aka Matty Bets. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to be here with you. It was great to meet all of you guys in Las Vegas at the Vegas Bowl. So I'm super excited to, continue to learn more about the SFL community.
Oh man, I was just telling Michael that it was a great experience. And for me specifically, when I walked into the room and then you guys just kind of like surprised me by knowing who I was, and then from the production itself was absolutely fantastic, So you gave us a lot to remember. And so just wanted to kind of take the time out, invite some of the team members on, our partners on, just to kind of let the community get a chance to know you and more in detail about Next Level. So thank you for being here. So tell us about yourself, Matty. I would like to know your age, if you would like to share that. but your hometown. Interesting fact about yourself and your favorite NFL team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's easy for me. So I'm a diehard Eagles fan. I'm 26 years old. I'm from PG County, Maryland. So pretty much I've been a diehard sports fan my entire life. I started like watching the Eagles when I was maybe like 5 or 6. I remember like Donovan McNabb was my favorite player. I love Brian Dawkins. And then gradually as I got older, like I started playing more sports. I picked up a love for baseball. I also am a huge like just basketball fan to watch. I'm from PG County, so for the people that don't know, it's the best basketball county in America. People like Kevin Durant are from here. We have a lot of like talent in the NBA. Trevor Keels just got drafted to the Knicks. Like if you watch college basketball, I always tell people, I guarantee you're going to see somebody from PG County in the game. So I was born and raised here, and it just made me, I grew up like 5 minutes from the Redskins, the Commanders, whatever they are now. I grew up like 5 minutes from the stadium. So started to hate them. I picked up a love for the Eagles, and I've just been a diehard sports fan ever since, which kind of is what got me here. In college, I am a graduate of Shepherd University and also a graduate of Bowie State, where I got my master's. But I was able to play college football when I went to Shepherd, and I played my last year out at Bowie State. So when I stopped playing football, I was kind of like at a little like crossroads of like, I have no idea what to do with my life anymore. Like this has been such a big phase. I played from 7 all the way up until I was 22. So I kind of learned like all the tools and the tricks of the game. I found my own strategy. And then from there, like I just started, posting more picks as the sports betting industry continues to grow. Eventually I ended up finding Next Level. Well, like I like to say, Next Level found me. And they told me about a bunch of opportunities and how they wanted to grow in the sports betting space. And, all the cool things they do in their network, like, our NCL lacrosse league and, promoting these like SFL, all the great things that we show on our network. I was like, this is a great space and opportunity for me. Not only as somebody who wants to work in sports media and journalism and broadcasting, but also as somebody who's, a sports bettor, and I found a craft and a tool and something I'm really good at. And it's just another place for me to amplify, the things that I do every single day.
Awesome. I like to ask that question so we can get a better sense of who the individual is. And I wonder, has this always been something that interests you, or did you have another, maybe another childhood dream that you wanted to kind of live out, but Next Level just happened to be your path?
I don't think I really had many other childhood dreams. Like, I mean, to be truthfully honest, my real childhood dream was, I wish I was in the NFL. Like I can never like act like that wasn't my dream as a kid, was to be a professional athlete. But not everything works out the way that you dream of. Not all of us are blessed to be 6'5" to 250. So, I landed where I landed, but I always knew that like there was no way I could walk away from sports and not work around it. So truthfully, I would say like my other childhood like dreams and passions were always just spending time with my family as much as I could, always being in a space where I could be myself. Like I just never wanted to ever grow up and have to work a job where I felt like every day I'm just punching the clock. Like, I truly enjoyed like working for Next Level and being able to like go to the Vegas Bowl, meet so many new people, and like really just be in different spaces while also, being around sports, and just the passion, the love, the energy, like everything about it is, what makes me excited to go to work every day. And so, like there was even a moment when I was at SFL when, I met Mike and Jeffrey Daggs. And when Jeffrey ended up, scoring the game-winning touchdown, and the entire SFL arena was chanting his name at the end of the game, I was just like, as an 11-year-old, like I would have never in my wildest dreams have been able to imagine like being in a space like that or how I would have handled it. And, Jeff was just so cool about it. Like, he was like, oh yeah, I was just in the Hall of Fame. Like I just scored a game with a touchdown. Like It's nothing. I'm just like, oh, I don't know what I would have been freaking out. I would have been like, yeah, I scored a game with a touchdown. So it was super exciting to see that.
Oh man, absolutely. And it's funny because you can still relive those moments, by creating your player yourself, coming out here and showing what you got. I'm just saying. We're accepting rookies right now.
Yeah, Bryant told me he made a little highlight film, so I might have to make my highlight film and create my player eventually.
Okay.
It was a big question at the Vegas Bowl. Was everybody was asking like, all right, when you gonna join? When you gonna make your play? When you gonna make your play? But I think like I told you, like I gotta be a star. So if I'm putting in my application for coaches and owners to pick me up, like I can't have my attributes being too low. So I definitely might be the guy that on your team that's like, hold on, man, if I'm not getting the ball, if my hands ain't getting better, like I gotta switch teams. So I definitely, I gotta watch the full season before I jump into it. So, maybe around like week 10, week 11, I'll start thinking about creating my guy.
Okay. Hey, at least you're putting everybody on notice. You're putting the league on notice. Listen, y'all picking me up? I'm gonna have to be the star, and you gonna have to give me everything. Now, Mike St. Green is gonna probably have an issue with that. You didn't meet some Mike St. Green, but you probably have seen him during like the live broadcast and everything. But oh my gosh, you two. Switching gears a little bit. So when Next Level called you and let you know that, hey, we want Matthew here with us. Can you explain what that feeling was like, and even maybe the situation how it happened?
So really, I had a mutual connection that worked at Next Level Sports, and really, it's kind of like it was almost like a dream come true, but it didn't necessarily feel real at the same time. Like, I take a lot of pride in being a Black man, but also, being able to work in spaces that are also around other Black men, learning from, successful Black men and, growing in my own space in my own way. So when I heard like there's a Black man who Andre Gunja, our owner, who had just purchased the sports network, and somebody told me like, it would be a great opportunity for you to work there, I was just like, what? Like before this, I worked in communications for the DC Public Charter School Board. And so I've been there for like 2.5 years. I really was kind of stuck. I've been sports betting and that had been going very well. I was growing my platform like organically outside of work. But at the same time, I was kind of in a space where it was like, I didn't think I was gonna like jump back into working in sports this soon or in this nature at all. So truthfully, like when I like had the opportunity to sit down and meet them and I got the call and like everything was going, like the plan was, I want to work for them, but it took a couple months for me to really get there. It was really just more like a couple months of real patience, and really just like okay, like this is a dream come true, but like let it happen. Like, I'm still like, every day to me is a new experience that I wake up excited and just appreciative of being able to work for Next Level Sports. So, I mean, even like, days like the Vegas Bowl, like you guys like saw me and like saw that I was super busy, but like the whole day I was just like in awe that I was even able to not only do something like that, but like I have an amazing team around me. So, just the fact they believe in me and they supported me and I was able to do it. Like, I mean, from the moment I got the call to like even like today, I'm still like just super happy to be here.
Awesome, man. I'm telling you, the feeling is definitely mutual. It's funny how you can meet someone and instantly feel like you are friends. And that was the vibe that I got, from everyone in the company when we got a chance to meet everyone. And I like the family camaraderie that you guys seem to have for each other, even when, you guys, there were different types of situations, that occurred, and everyone was cool. And it was nice to see and appreciate, So I I wondered about that, and I wondered about how you felt about it. I'm glad you shared it. And which leads me to, what is the purpose or mission statement of Next Level, in your opinion? What do you think the ultimate goal is?
So Next Level Sports is a urban sports network. And our truthful goal is not to be like, you know, the bigger sports networks or anybody like that. Our truthful goal is to be ourselves. You know, we go full force. We put in a lot of sweat, a lot of hours, a lot, you know, like big shout outs to our producers, Zach, Brian, and then the rest of the Next Level staff, and Jordan Johnson, Michael Chase, myself, Marty, our editor. Like it's not a lot of us, but like we go hard every single day when we're in the office. Like we're putting together these projects, NCL, like we're putting up the fields, we're doing everything. So like our truthful goal and mission is, you know, make sure that we're producing and everything that we're putting out amplifies the people, the stories, the voices, everything around it. And as an urban network, we have to look to, you know, different stories, like for instance, the NCL, our HBC lacrosse league that we put together on our network. Like that's so much deeper than just you watching HBCU lacrosse. You're watching Olympic style HBCU lacrosse. It's like 5-on-5. They're not playing with defensive sticks. They're playing straight offense. They're scoring goals. But it also gives this opportunity to a bunch of Black men who probably are not getting real opportunities to go to these PWIs and play at these big lacrosse schools, because lacrosse is not a national sport. So when you're giving kids these opportunities, and then you look at like a bigger opportunity like the Olympics in 2028, like the first day I ever set up the NCL field, the first thing I said to myself was like, I can't wait to see one of these kids in the Olympics. And so like, that's our mission and our purpose, is to make sure like every story, everything that we put on our network gets a bigger audience. And like that story is told to its fullest potential so that people truthfully get, you know, the love and appreciation and the opportunities that they deserve.
And why do you think that that is needed in today's society, especially with everything going on?
So I think there's a bunch of different reasons. Like, yeah, when you watch a lot of the bigger sports networks, you see them just, they're so hyper focused on the biggest names in sports. You know who's going to win out of the stronger stories in sports, and you kind of also lose the fact that sports is a lot bigger than just the professional leagues. Like, you know, sports is SFL, sports is NCL, sports is, you know, all the little sports, bowling. It's not just the NFL, NBA, and other things. And I feel like those stories have to have a chance to be told as well. Like I always tell people, like I'm a gambler, so you know, sports betting is the only way that I truthfully gamble. And it's like, if I could go bet on your little sister's volleyball game and you gave me enough information on it, I would go bet it, because I want to win some money. So like, if you give these leagues and these other opportunities, like, you know, just a bigger audience and these smaller sports, bigger chances, you'll have people interested in them for any reason, whether that's betting, falling in love with the sport, hearing the story. Like, the storytelling of sports is truthfully what creates it. And so like, the smaller voices need a bigger platform. And I think that's what's the biggest thing really about it.
Phenomenal. I love that. I really do. I think that that is very important, because there are a lot of good stories and a lot of inspirational stories that often get overlooked or missed, you know, because they're not big enough or because they're not well known. So it's good to have, you know, a network that is dedicating themselves to such a thing. You know, what is a high point, in your opinion, that the network has had since its creation?
So I really, you know, and you know, just to touch on NCL again, I really think it was, you know, being able to get through our inaugural season of NCL. Like as many people you might look like I said before, you really might look at it and you just see an HBCU lacrosse league. But when you really realize the impact of what it is, like it's deep. And so for us to be able to not only put together a league like that, but then to, broadcast it, really give these kids an opportunity. Getting through it was definitely tough. And like, I give a lot of credit to our team, but like, I have to give so much credit to the players that were involved on every team, because, there were some points in our season where some teams really were kind of out of it. And it was kind of hard to, I feel like for them to keep going and finding motivation to play. But like those kids stuck through it. And like, I know they're just going to only get better. Like the growth opportunity, the potential that playing on a larger bunch of Division I Black HBC, not just HBC, but Black lacrosse players. And so when you have you see that we were able to put together a league and now these kids get a large opportunity where if they were just another student on Lincoln right now, or we didn't do NCL, they would not be going to Michigan United Boost Camp. And so even if it's only 4 guys that get the opportunity, those 4 guys will instantly make their teams better. They'll go back to school. And I know exactly how it is playing football. I have, teammates who are able to attend the Manning camp when I was in college. And, as a quarterback, as a passer, to go learn from, Eli and Peyton Manning is the two biggest quarterback names ever. And so when they come back to school, it's you instantly feel and everybody's asking questions what was it like? What did you do? So the fact that those guys will be able to go compete at Nation United and then come back to their school, make their team better. Next season, I know every single NCL team will be better. Not only that, but if we're able to bring in more schools, the bigger the league gets, the more excitement that grows around it. And once the HBCUs and the schools get into it, I can't imagine how this will look in 3 to 5 years.
Phenomenal. Matty Bets. So who gave you the name? And when you say that you like to bet, and when you're, what does your job actually entail?
So before this, I was, already I had my own Instagram where I was just promoting picks and, pushing everything out. So pretty much when they found me, they just told me I gotta go hard. My middle initial is B. So I naturally was okay, how can I use this to my advantage? My favorite baseball player right now, one of my favorite baseball players is Mookie Betts. And so I was just combining Matty, which is already what people have called me pretty much my whole life. Everybody, my last name's Phillips. So when I was in high school, everybody called me Matty P. And I was wow, I can just combine Matty and Betts, and boom. The name is right there, in my lap. So once I, created that, it was just now I pretty much write a sports betting piece every single morning that is posted on our website in the newsroom. And from there, you can see what I think my favorite bets are. You can follow me on social just to hear my opinions, things that I like on the weekends. I pretty much bet every day right now because it's baseball season. Baseball is 24/7 every single day. But, throughout football season, you'll see my sports opinions, me arguing with my friends, probably me being a way too excited Eagles fan. So you'll be able to see everything else when you follow me on social. And it's truthfully just who I am every day. I have 2 TVs in my living room. I'm always watching. There's not it's just who I am. But it's also what brings me joy and happiness is really just, seeing these moments. Even one of the things I love the most about SFL was the fact that you guys had gambling lines, even though there's nowhere that you guys can truthfully bet on SFL. At the same time, for me as a gambler, I love watching sports and just being and what's the over under in this? I wonder if they're about to cover it. Because truthfully, every time I'm watching a game, whenever I see somebody score, whenever I see a team go up by a certain amount or win by a certain amount, I'm somebody just won some money and somebody just lost some money from betting on this. So in my head, I'm just always thinking about that. So that's super enjoyable for me watching.
Jack's data. Listen, those guys are amazing. They take the time out. I mean, we have a lot of statisticians that work with us, but they definitely take the time out to do their thing, and we appreciate that. So, what is a goal, personal life goal, that you would like to accomplish by this time next year?
By this time next year. So truthfully, I think one of my personal goals for this year, outside of this, is I really want to get a jet ski. I'm in the process of trying to get my boating license. And so when I was a kid, I was able to ride jet skis a lot at my grandfather's house in Virginia. So now as an adult, like I'm just super attached to the water, and I'm just like, my friends have their own boats and like things like that. So every time I'm on their boat, I'm like, man, I could just pull up on my jet ski. I'm like, I gotta do it. So like I finally looked up like real prices like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, all right, now I gotta start saving. So truthfully, like that's like my next big, like, you know, what I want to be doing next summer, like what I want to be spending my free time doing. Because as much as I do love sports, I always tell people you got to take some breaks sometime. And so I've definitely been in more of a space of like trying to find like what's best for my mental health, like what's the best way for me to take breaks. Because truthfully now, like the only way I do is when I'm just spending time with my friends doing whatever they want to do. So I'm just trying to find more things that I love outside of just sports.
I know that's right. I definitely understand, because you don't want to burn yourself out either. It's very easy to do, going back and forth and doing everything. Do you have more than one job title at Next Level?
So we all wear multiple hats to the Next Level. So I am a staff writer and a contributing analyst. And that's pretty much a bulk of my work. Yeah. So I focus on sports betting, and then I also focus on the other leagues that we cover. So those are my two main titles, but no, I don't have anything else.
Okay, no, that's good. I mean, I you know, you take what you do and you do it well. So hey, you know, I just wanted to make sure, you know, I didn't leave anything out. You know, make sure you get all your accolades.
Yeah.
But this has been a blast to have you on. But I can't let you go without doing two things first. One, do you have any questions for me that you want to ask that maybe you didn't get a chance to ask when you was in Vegas? Because I did enjoy our interview.
You just froze. Just heard you.
Okay.
So my first question would be, one, congrats on being a co-owner of the Arizona Scorpions.
Thank you.
But also, like, now that you're the co-owner, what's next? Like, what's the next plan? What are your next steps? You're already, you know, the biggest ambassador of the SFL. Like, what more could you do for this league?
I just want to keep doing what I have been doing, because, you know, it helps. Everyone has a contributing something that they do. So we have a bunch of content creators. We have a bunch of league staff members. Everybody has their roles. And I just stepped into a new one. So I want to make sure that I'm learning all that I need to learn in my new role as co-owner, and do that to the best of my abilities, like I have taken the time out to do everything else to the best of my abilities. Kind of like wherever the wind blows, you see how this wind is blowing right now? I just gotta flow with it, you know? So if there's any more opportunities that the league decides to give me, any more responsibilities, I'll be willing to take those on too, because that's how much dedication I have for it, you know? And I talk to everybody pretty much anyway, so, you know, it's kind of easy for me.
Yeah, I can imagine. You guys got a fun group of people in the SFL.
And yeah, definitely. It'll be y'all can add to it when y'all start adding your players. I'm just saying. Okay, but go ahead.
Yeah, you know, you're right. When I go to the office this week, I'm gonna be like, all right, y'all, we all making an SFL player today.
Okay, now you know I'm gonna keep this on the show, so I'm gonna hold you to it.
Yeah, I already know if you told Mike the same thing, Mike's gonna tell me on Monday.
Gotcha. Anything else that you want to ask? Okay. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for being on the show, making time for me. And, you're definitely invited back whenever you'd like to come back. If you have any announcements that you want to give or anything, doors are always open to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, for me and the rest of the team. We loved being at the Vegas Bowl and meeting so many unique personalities like yourself. So, any opportunities like this, if you have any ideas, any shows, the door's always open from us. We love doing things like this and we love connecting with you guys. So anything, and like I said, I hope we see you guys again in another event. I hope the Vegas Bowl stays the Vegas Bowl. And, Cameron finds more events to do for the SFL community. So, we can always be a part and we can see you guys in person as well. So, thank you again for allowing me on the show. It's, been a blast.
Awesome. Any shout outs? Would you like to? I like to give my guests the last word typically. And since you watch my show, I know you know this. So I'm going to give you the last word, and that can be a song or a poem, or just a simple shout out to whomever you like. But right now, Matty, the floor is yours.
If I was to give a shout out to anybody, it has to be my grandfather. He passed away maybe 2 years ago, right in the middle, right before the pandemic started. But I mean, I know that guy's always watching over me. He was my biggest fan as a baseball player when I was a kid. And now, to be living my dreams, I know he's probably as excited as the rest of my family was to see me on TV hosting the Vegas Bowl, and they were just super ecstatic. I gotta give my shout out to him, because without him, I don't know if I would really believe in myself this much. But I do, and shout out to him, the rest of my family, all my supporters, everybody from SFL, and of course the whole Next Level community. I mean, for believing in me and giving me an opportunity. Because without them, I trust you, I would not be here. I would still be working at the school board. And now I get the opportunity to not only just be myself, but, show that to the rest of the world. And that's something I would never take for granted.
Fantastic. Can't wait to have you back on. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Very welcome. And to you, thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it, y'all. Looking forward to bringing you another great podcast next week. But until then, stay safe, treat each other well. For Michael, Matty, Striker, we're out. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. I got a little long-winded, so I'll take the blame for taking up the time.
No, you're fine. I don't mind what my guests have a lot to say. And it's a lot of good quality stuff. So, I mean, hey, I want you to have fun. Whenever you're on this show, you don't have to feel like you got to rush. You feel like you got to, oh, man, she has time. No, that's all good, I promise.
Darn, I should have tried to push for the record. Beat 3 hours.
Well, I tell you what, if you was on the show with, let's see, if it was you, if it was my co-owner Eddie Gage, if it was my another good friend of mine, Damon Simmons, all of y'all together, oh yeah, it would have easily been 4 or 5 hours. I just had a show with Eddie recently. That's actually going to be coming out, if not tonight, then tomorrow. Hour, 16 minutes, easy. I swear I only asked him about maybe 6 questions.
I gotta make sure. I may not be able to stay up through the whole thing. I'll definitely make sure to check that out once it comes out, just to see. Because if he can turn an hour and 16 out of 6 questions, I need to see how he does it. That's a skill in and of itself, right there.
I'm sure it's probably a couple more, but when I was watching the playback, it always seemed like it was 6. But oh man, but that's the good stuff. That's why I love the community. That's one of the reasons, because we have a whole bunch of different characters that come from all walks of life. And you never know how much you have in common with someone until you look at shows like this, until you actually sit down and listen to a conversation or even have a conversation with them. So it's a great experience being here. Speaking, hey, it was funny that you mentioned, I didn't know whether I was going to mention whether Matt was going to be on the show or not. Because I kind of wanted it to be a surprise, but then I kind of figured you was going to know. I kind of figured either Mayana was going to say something or Matt was going to say something.
Oh, no, what? Because I was sitting there even the first couple days of last week when nobody was at the office. I was like, man, I just got invited on the podcast. Like, but I ain't got nobody to tell. I'm the only one in the office. It's like the interns that we have working there, I mean, they're cool, but it doesn't seem like they're going to necessarily care as much because they didn't get a chance to go on the trip. So, like, Jordan's not here, Matt's not here. I can't tell him. But then when Matt talked, I was like, okay, that makes sense. I was like, oh, I don't feel as special. I thought Ashley just reached out to me. But I'm playing. I had a feeling you made your round. So trust me. I'm just happy that you even thought of me because I was just snapping pictures.
Let me tell you exactly how that went down. So I originally asked Mayana to be on the show because we talked a lot and knew she knew in depth about the company and everything, but she was saying that interviews weren't necessarily her thing. So, and I told her I understand if she could, if anybody else wanted to do it, just let me know. So you retweeted out my show. And I was like, let me just ask Michael, because Michael is always out here. He's always retweeting stuff. He's always posting stuff, so let me just see if he would be willing to do it. And I asked you and you was like, yes. I was like, cool. Then that next day, Mayana got Matthew. And you're the first one that I'm actually recording with now. So there you go.
Making history. That's what I guess that's part of my job description now. Make history.
And you do that very well, sir. Oh man, but thanks, Michael. If you ever need anything, just hit me up and I got you. Okay?
Thank you. I mean, look, if I need some SFL gear, I'll hit you up for sure. Some of those jerseys look sweet. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, when you start playing, you'll get your own jersey with your name on it. Your number on it, your team. Maybe if we do roster expansion, you'll have the Arizona Scorpions logo right here. We'll see what we can work out for you. All
right. I get the message. I'll weigh my options, see my schedule, and if it's to happen, I'm gonna make it happen.